Greetings to all of you Internetians. This is Piano Bar Live, where we all connect with live music. The show starts now.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Look around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny. And I feel wicked and wacky and mellow, firm as Gibraltar and shaky as jello, but alive. I feel half Tijuana, half Boston, partly Jane Fonda and partly Jane Austen, but alive. That's the thing, but alive. This kaleidoscope of feelings whirls around inside my brain. I admit I'm slightly cuckoo, but it's dull to be too sane. And I feel brilliant and brash and bombastic, limp as a puppet and simply fantastic. COVID's not a thrill.
La, la, la.
Yes, we both were ill.
La, la, la.
But thank God we're still alive. Cha cha cha.
Yeah.
You guys are alive.
Hold on. Let me fix my audio. Yeah. Just barely now alive.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. It's good to have you back. I know that both of you have done shows.
Yeah.
So
Fluffing my hair, sorry. We are both back to doing our shows. Michael's on Wednesday and Friday at 6:00 on his Facebook page.
On my Facebook page.
And then-
Conveniently called Michael Garin.
Right?
Amazing.
What are the odds? And then mine is on my Facebook page. I mean, he plays the piano. It's not like he's not there with me. On Sundays at 6:00.
It's
We
like
love
living
you
above
guys.
the store.
the
Very
fact
well.
that you're there together, you were able to nurse each other back to health, I guess, is
Yes,
good days,
it
bad
was.
days, and
It was crucial, and it actually worked out that, yeah, the days that I was feeling crappy, he was a little more competent and vice versa. We hope it's that way in our act, too.
good. Excellent. And you both met at Birdland.
Yeah.
Yes, we met in 2005 at Jim Caruso's cast party. He was doing an original song of his, and I sang "Hurry, It's Lovely Up Here" from On a Clear Day. I'll remember as long as I live. Yeah.
Birdland had an amazing show on Sunday.
Yes, it
and
was
had
incredible, wasn't it?
raised a lot of money, which is really important to keep them. You know, they have to stay open and
Yeah.
come back. And
all the venues have a tough road ahead of them because, you know, it's just that's the way that's the hand we've been dealt right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys were great to start off the set with a tune from I guess it must be like 70. I can see clearly now.
I think it's early 70s. Johnny Nash, who you also remember, Superman.
Oh, he wrote that?
Yeah.
That's Hercules.
Hercules, same thing.
Perfect.
So it was, you know,
See
there was something about that song where we had been denied optimism for so long that when Marty suggested it, I thought that's a great idea because everybody's kind of feeling like, you know, the dark clouds have gone.
Yeah.
And things may work out.
Yeah.
Great. You look good, Marty. Great selection. Thank you for opening the show for us tonight. You know,
Thank you.
Michael, you've been around for a long time and have performed in so many amazing places. Monkey Bar,
the VIP room at Limelight was a lot of fun.
And then also at Elaine's.
Yeah.
And, you know,
at Elaine's for three years, like the last 3 years they were in business. Night. Yeah.
The folks that don't know what Elaine's was, it was a quintessential New York boîte, I guess is what you would say, with live music, a lot of conversation. I guess it filled in the space for with regards to kind of being like a salon where everybody could get together. And
we hadn't really hung out there, but when I got the gig, I looked around. I said, "This is for grown-ups who like to read
and stay up late."
Yeah.
I mean, things didn't get going at Elaine's. You would leave your house at 11 o'clock to go to Elaine's, and you know, you eat like a big heavy meal at 2 o'clock in the morning. But we played. Our gig was from 9 to 1, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, those are normal hours for me.
Yeah, she ran a tight ship.
She was amazing. She was there every night.
Yeah, I got the call to a friend of mine said from the Monkey Bar, and he was about 17 cocktails into the evening. He said, "Garin, get your blankety blank down to Elaine's." I said, "Dude, I haven't showered or shaved in a couple of days. You know, Marty was asleep. I'm doing the dishes." He goes, "Get your blankety blank." I said, "Fine." I go in there. They have the piano set up. The regular crowd is there. I start playing. Everybody starts singing, and then Elaine, God rest her soul, beckons me over and she goes, "You start Sunday. I don't think I can pay you." I said, "Fine."
So
we
you work for the tip bowl, right?
Yeah. And we worked
sure that worked.
And because we can say for the rest of our lives that we played at Elaine's, and she knew that. She knew that's why she didn't really have to.
I mean, I'm from a small town in Maryland, and in walks Jack Nicholson. Come on now.
It was pretty great.
It was great.
Yeah. I wish she's one of those voices that would have been amazing over the last year or so, the last 4 years. It would have been amazing. You know, I miss commentary from some people. Her, Joan Rivers. You know, there's a bunch of people whose voices, I hear them in my head, and wish they had been around because they would have added another level of security to the thought, you know?
Absolutely.
So listen,
if you want to hear a crabby old broad, you can always call me.
And you know what I love about you too, Marty, is that you're as close to the crazy as you can get without getting it on you. You kind of delve in and look at side things and find out things that most people they don't want to necessarily. But I trust you to keep me informed when there's stuff really happening that needs to be expounded upon.
I try to do that. I care about the truth. I care about information, but I also care about funny stuff. So like
that's why I'm here.
That's right. If something makes me laugh, I'm going to post it.
I think that there's absolutely nothing more wonderful in this world than a bright, opinionated woman.
You got her there with you. That's for sure.
She paid top dollar for that bullshit.
He knows which side his bread is buttered on.
Excellent. So you're going to do another number for us now?
Yeah, Michael's going to do one of his original numbers.
Is that now?
Yeah, that's now.
Oh, okay.
That's now.
You know, the environment is so important. So here's my green, environmentally sound moment.
Let's just check that audio before you get started.
Okay.
I got it. Thank you, Tony. Hold on, I got to fix this. Roll 'em.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. If fire ants were 6 feet long, they would surely rule. Then the ecology would be cool. There'd be no more people because they would have been torn apart and eaten by fire ants that were 6 feet long. And the air and the trees would be beautiful, and the waters would all be crystal clear, and the fish would swim, and the birds would fly, and they'd have to, because if they landed, they'd be torn apart and eaten by fire ants that were 6 feet long. Fire ants were 6 feet long, no one would pollute. And if fire ant eaters were 6 miles long, the whole point would be moot. Thank you.
For the ants.
You're right what you know.
It's all
You're
good.
saying-
This is getting close to the crazy. I mean, you want to talk about close to the crazy.
What was
Crazy
your
genius,
What was
crazy
your
genius.
inspiration there, Michael?
I've always been crazy about bugs and snakes, and I used to have my kids used to go to this summer camp, and they had Nature with Murray, and during the off season they needed some of the animals to be boarded, and they said, "What?" I said, "What's available?" They said, "Well, there's a tarantula." I said, "Let's get the tarantula, and we're going to name her Fluffy." So I've always had a soft spot for bugs and critters and stuff.
This stuff is just in his head. There was no inspiration. That's the answer. And
Yeah.
that's terrifying. It's
Yeah.
just in there.
Whenever we watch Jeopardy and there's like insects or creepy crawly
He's your
shit,
guy.
I kill it.
You know, the thing is too that people of our age, we remember those black and white movies that crossed over into our youth. From those movies that were made in the 50s. I
Like
mean,
them.
there was definitely an ant movie. I remember
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Them. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
There's a little of
favorite
everything.
bad,
You're from New York. It's them.
My favorite bad science fiction movie now is something called Ice Spiders, where the U.S. Olympic ski team is training, and the government has given nuclear steroids to spiders so that they could increase their silk production, and they escape.
What could possibly go wrong?
And they kill and eat first hunters, which is hilarious, and then the U.S. Olympics ski team. And my favorite moment, if I could recreate, is they go into where the ice spiders have struck, apparently, and some brave young lad looks at this red stuff on the floor and he goes, "Blood."
I think that might be your next musical. I smell a musical.
Ice Spiders.
Absolutely.
Hey, it's the Ice Spiders. Yeah.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
Real
having
quick,
us.
folks, again, you can catch Michael and Marty. They have their own shows. Guys, put that up on the thread, exactly how people can find you.
We will.
And we're going to be back to you a little bit later. But before you go, we want everybody, everybody look down at the bottom of your screen and hit that share button. So we get more people coming in and we share the love. And I really appreciate you guys being on with us tonight. And I so appreciate you guys, just period. It's like so good to have you back.
The feeling is mutual. And yes, we're very, very happy to be feeling better and up to our old nonsense.
Yeah, I was sending a playlist to my sons for a Zoom Shiva if the shit went bad.
We were never that sick.
Okay.
All good.
Thank
All right.
you.
So
Preparedness
we'll
is
catch up with you
important.
later.
So
See you later.
we'll see you in a little bit.
Tony, we're at that point now.
Yeah.
Where I've asked everybody to share. That's easy.
Yes, we did.
Hopefully everybody has a cocktail. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick it over to you, and we'll have the corner.
All right. Well, we'll have a corner indeed. And it'll be Tony's corner. Hey, everybody. For those of you who are new to our stream, I am Tony Jabbett. I'm associate producer of this weekly shindig where we connect with live music called Piano Bar Live. Welcome to our 67th show, whether you are joining us from Facebook or watching on YouTube or on Broadway On Demand. For those of you who are not so new, you know full well that we just love to bring you the best and most interesting from the piano bar scene, cabaret, and Broadway. And if you are a regular person, or a regular viewer, I should say, regular person I don't know about, we don't judge. I certainly can't afford to. But you will know if you're a regular customer that I have forgotten to put our virtual tip bowl information, which is a very important reason why I come out from behind the scenes and out from behind the controls to remind you that a huge, huge part of why we have been able to bring 67 shows of Piano Bar Live is because of the generous tips that you drop in our virtual tip bowl. We try to make it easy by letting you do that via Venmo or PayPal, whichever you choose. And as Scott said, it bears repeating that in addition to that, sharing our stream is a big help. And of course, while you're here, we love, love, love seeing all of your wonderful comments in our thread. So do not be shy. Say hi to your old friends and introduce yourself to some new ones. And do, of course, share the love with our performers who, you know, come here to share their talent and delight us every week. So without any further ado, let me take off that helpful information on how you can give via Venmo or PayPal off of the screen and bring back our illustrious leader, Scott Barberino, to the proceedings. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Tony. So, Tony, our first guest, well, not our first guest, but our next guest, she's one of these people that lives in the world of between piano bars and Broadway and gets gigs and goes out and then comes back. She was in the Broadway cast of Hairspray. She played Tracy Turnblad, and then, you know, not that long ago when we could still get back in the bars, I was popping into Don't Tell Mama, and there she was behind the bar. So, you know, there's something to be said about the piano bars and how they help people get survive during the in-between times on the gigs. She's amazing. She's an amazing performer, and she just won the Piano Bar Entertainer Award from Broadway World on the Broadway World Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michelle Dowdy.
Hi. I've got your number. I know you inside out. You ain't no Eagle Scout. You're all at sea. Oh yeah, you brag a lot. Wave your own flag a lot. But you're unsure a lot. Yeah, you're a lot like me. I've got your number. And what you're looking for, what you're looking for, just suits me fine. We'll break the rules a lot, we'll be damn fools a lot. And then why should we not, how could we not combine with, I've got your number, I've got your number, I got your number, and baby, you got mine. Dance break. What you can't see is my feet are crazy. Just kidding. Drinking break. A soft glazer on the keys. He's not really here. I've got your number and what you're looking for. What you're looking for just suits me fine. We'll break the rules a lot. We'll be damn fools a lot. But then why should we not? How could we not combine? Let's just go right into another number. How about that, people? Let's do it. Why not? Why not me? It's my moment. Anyone? Just kidding. Here's a back from my album. Okay, here we go. Appropriate. It's called Drinking Again. Johnny Mercer. Drinking again. Thinking of when you loved me. Just having a few. And wishing that you were here, making the rounds, buying around for a total stranger, just being a fool. And I keep hoping that you'll appear. Sure, I can borrow a smoke. I can sit here all night and tell these jokers some jokes. But who's gonna laugh? Who's gonna laugh at a broken heart? My heart is aching, I swear. It's breaking and I'm drinking again. Thinking of when you left me, and I'm just trying to get home with nothing but a memory. Yeah, I'm trying to get home, dying to get home, and I've got nothing but a bottle of beer and just my memories.
Hey, Michelle.
Oh,
I think you got it.
and what an angel. Hi, Scott.
How nice to see you. You know, I love the fact that you work and you're out on the road and you got shows that you do. But we are so lucky in the piano bar world that you have one foot still with us
Oh,
in
always.
that scene, because it's a pleasure to walk in, especially you're pretty much at Mama's.
Yeah.
And seeing you there, there was a perfect song. Do you do that one? I'm guessing that's a good one for the shank of the evening.
It is. Usually it's the late time set. You know, it's like the third set in the night. It's like 2 a.m.
Right.
That's when I pull out the Bette Midler.
All good. And so you've done you've done so much incredible stuff. The idea that you did were in Hairspray on Broadway, amazing. You did the national tour of Les Mis, right?
Yeah, I was just on it right before COVID hit. So I was in Durham, North Carolina, when we had done 3 shows, and then they canceled the rest of the weekend, and then they flew us home on that Sunday, and then that was the end of that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that some of the off-Broadway stuff, the one that really that I didn't get a chance to see it, but the Night of the Living Dead, the musical.
Yes.
Now, well, how was that to work in?
Well, so my partner, my better half, Jordan Wolfe, wrote Night of the Living Dead. He wrote the book, the music, and the lyrics. He's unbelievably talented, and he was in it because he's an actor and a vocalist, and he can sing his face off.
Right.
He had this idea, and basically Tom Dangora and Michael Dangora had the Kirk Theater, which is now like number 3 or something at Theater Row. And I was doing Wonderettes at the time. And then when Wonderettes closed for the last time, and then before something else was coming in, there was like a month-ish of open space. And basically Tom and Michael were like, we'll give you the house to do Night of the Living Dead. And it was directed by my best friend, Mitchell Walker, who also directed my album and my one-woman show. And we learned the show in 6 days and put it up. And then we ran for a month and it was sold out every night. It was a wonderful experience. I played like 5 characters. So it's funny for me because when I think back, I'm like, oh, right. I played all of these parts and it was me constantly running backstage, changing costumes as fast as I can, and then coming on and like belting and then like leaving and then coming back. It was a lot of fun for me. So when you can belt as a zombie, I recommend it.
And those two, by the way, Michael and Tom Dangora.
Yeah. I mean, they're unbelievable.
Oh my God. I mean, firstly, the what they did for Laurie Beachman.
Yep, and the West Bank, they saved it. They raised so much money. I think they doubled their goal, and I think they just did that with Birdland.
And they just did an amazing job with Birdland.
Yeah.
And they produced the Marvelous Wonderettes, right?
Yes, they did, and they did for several years. And I was very lucky that I joined for like the last 2.5 years. I joined them, so that was why. So we would have 4 shows a week of Wonderettes. And then I would be at Mama's for like 3 or 4 shifts. So, that's the life of an actor. It's because when I did Hairspray, I was a baby. I was 18. I just got off the bus. I was very lucky and fortunate. But I'm not one of those people. I know several people who just go from Broadway show to Broadway show to Broadway show. It happens. And they work and I love them. But I am not one of those people.
Well, you never know how your career is going to go now once everything opens up.
Exactly. Hopefully, since I was just on the Les Mis tour for only 2 months, hopefully we will be back on the road. I know that Cameron McIntosh probably wants some money. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that he'll reopen the tour, which would be amazing. But like you said, I have one foot in piano bar and I always will. It's like, it really was a gift when I started working there about 6 years ago now. Off and on, it was such a gift, and the people that I work with are just such a family, and they all really they care about you. Like we have a big thread that we talk on every day, and they're your family.
They are a family. I don't know if you know, I worked at Mama's for a little while.
I did know that.
And my first job at Mama's, all the mirrors. There's a lot of mirrors in that place.
Yes.
My first job, I was working downtown, and then I wanted to get into Mama's. And the first job I got at Mama's was going in there in the afternoons once a week and cleaning all the mirrors.
Oh my God.
And I was so happy to have the job.
Well, they're an institution, and they were working really hard through this pandemic to try to make things happen. When they were open, they had outside seating, and they've been working really hard about keeping all of the COVID restrictions, keeping up with to code, getting a new ventilation system, which I never thought would happen, but it happened for them to be open and to work. So a lot of good has come from that, but they work so hard, and we have to just hope that our small institutions, musical live institutions like that, will stay open when we can all be together again.
I saw a couple of the shows outside at Mama's, and they're the one thing is their fan base is there. I mean,
right, people are there, and when the Beachmen couldn't do shows down in the basement, they all of those drag queens from Drag Race all came over to Mama's and did a bunch of shows outside, and really kept kept it going.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm grateful for them, and I'm grateful for the people who came out and see. I know a bunch of my friends and our roommates who live in our apartment. They all went to several people's shows. to the girls, Laura Pavlis and Tara Martinez did their show.
I had them
around
on
Christmas.
the show. They were great.
They were wonderful. God, they can just sing anything, can't they? They're
Yeah.
the best.
And and God love the drag queens too.
God,
I mean,
God love them. We
they,
need to love them.
you know, they're nothing's stopping them. And
Mm-mm.
and you know that goes back. I mean, obviously things are improving now, but hopefully, you know, the direction we're going in is that they've got their voice back and they've got their comfortability level returning to
Yeah.
being, you know, active members without having to deal with all kinds of extra harassment and
Right.
and all.
I think,
So-
you know, I think we're hopefully coming into an age where there are more sincere and empathetic people who care about others, and it's not just for show and it's not performative. And so I hope that lots of venues and things like this, you know, open their eyes and doors to people who are, you know, marginalized like that, so that they have a voice and they need it.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we can't ever forget that this change is happening and we have to push it all the way this time. We can't ever forget that we have to all vote.
Yes.
That's the
We
most
have to vote.
important thing of all. The consensus, if we all vote, seems to be in the right direction. So,
I think so. And honestly, you know, in the next 4 years, a lot of people, a lot of kids who are like 15 will be able to vote. There's, you know, every 4 years, more young people exist. So I think that we're hopefully going to have a big blue wave.
yeah. And
Yeah.
as soon as these places can open, I think we're going to have clubs opening, dance clubs opening, cabarets, more restaurants, all
Yeah.
kinds of activity, because people are going to want to go out.
I think so. I think
And,
you're right. I think there'll be a boom. Like I feel like right now, I feel it's hard for people to look into the future, only because it's been so, this year has been so hard, and our industry specifically has been completely, you know, wiped out. But it's things like this and Piano Bar Live that keeps things going. So like, thank you for
you're
making
welcome.
this happen and still doing it and letting people, you know, hear music and be heard.
We are us cabaret and piano bar people are very resourceful.
You know what? We have to be.
And
We have to
spirited.
be. We're the gig workers that Biden talks about that needs all the help they can get, because we're the ones who go from gig to gig to gig. And it's very, and drag queens are like that, and other actors I know who are bartenders as well. Like everyone has a side hustle and everybody is working so hard to, you know, make ends meet. So, you know, we need this, we need stuff like this, and it'll blow up again.
And when the history is written, it will speak very well of how we as entertainers helped keep the focus and some happiness.
I
and
agree.
Joy. So thank you so much for joining us, Michelle. And
thanks for having me, Scott.
Keep us up on whatever else I'm guessing that you're virtually auditioning or looking for the work. And
yeah, doing what I can. I'm mostly making my own stuff. I'm currently I'm one of the 28 finalists in the American Traditions competition. So that's happening, I think, in like a couple weeks. So I hope everybody watches that. And
keep us updated. Okay?
I will.
And then I could put that out on Nightlife Exchange as well.
There's so many amazing vocalists who are in this 28, and everyone has to hear them. It's going to be crazy.
Excellent.
I don't know how I got in.
Talent.
Thanks, Scott.
And congratulations on the Broadway World Award.
Thank you. You know, it was really unexpected, because I didn't really campaign hard for it. I guess I kind of forgot about it. But it was amazing that the Piano Bar, and I got the album of the decade, and I was like, what? Wait.
And the name of the album is
A Brass Act.
Brass Act.
Like, you know, that's So Drinking Again. My second song is from Brass Act.
Excellent. So everybody can get that on
anywhere music sold. You can go stream it on Spotify. You can buy it on iTunes. I'll take your money.
Excellent. All right, Michelle, have a great one.
You too, Scott.
See you soon.
Love you, baby.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So we're ready to go to our next guest this evening. He's somebody kind of new to me. I hadn't met him before. He has watched the show a few times and had gotten in touch with me. And then I had actually seen him on another virtual piano bar show that Bob Egan has been doing, which is amazing. If you haven't seen Bob Egan's show, check him out on the Virtual Piano Bar channel as well. So I'm going to bring on now Mr. Scott Raneri.
Scott, hello.
Hey, Scott.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy because it's easy for me to remember your name.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
And you know, Tony will tell you sometimes I have memory loss issues. You know, so
getting up there.
I'm going to start taking Prevagen, or I don't know what I have something. I have to start putting something into my diet, that ginkgo biloba or something. But what a great time to meet you, because you've been doing so much work virtually.
I've been lucky enough to have enough contacts to keep my name kind of out there. And
you have been.
Thank you for having me on the show.
I saw you on Bob Egan's show. He's fantastic. He's got a great group of people that he brings on. It's an enormous, actually, cast of people that he's been helping, make the changeover to doing the virtual stuff.
Bob has people performing from all across the country, literally. And Bob's been doing it for years, like you. And he's just inviting anyone he knows to participate. And Bob and I have been friends for about 15 years, I think. And it's nice to be able to work virtually with him, since I can't run down from New York to New Hope or to Asbury Park whenever he's playing.
Both places that I would love to be able to get to soon.
Yes, all of us would.
And of course, Odette's, going back to the classic time in New Hope, was Odette's, and Bob's work there was the place to go.
I remember when he was having cabarets there. I wish you could start them up again.
That was an amazing. But listen, you're a brave guy. I watched you last night, and the show that I watched is what do you call the On the Spot?
It's called On the Spot, yes. And they perform every Monday. They perform at the Broadway Comedy Club. Obviously, they've had to go virtual like everyone else.
Right.
And they bring usually 4 or 5 singers each week, and each singer gets 2 songs. And in between each song, they have an improv troupe that creates a musical, a brand new musical each week, because the improv troupe does not know what songs are going to be performed.
I saw that.
So, yeah.
So they're really brave. They were really good. So how do people see that show if they want to?
If they go to On the Spot NYC on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, that is their handle, On the Spot NYC. And they also broadcast through Zoom.
Excellent.
And I think their website is onthespotnyc.com.
Okay, well, you did a good job last night.
Thank you. And they're always looking for talent. So if anybody wants an evening to perform virtually at the moment, just get in touch with them. I'm sure they'd be happy to have them.
Amazing. So listen, Scott, we're going to hear you sing.
I hope
that's what people are here for.
Okay.
All right? Tony, whenever you're ready.
Move over, sun, and give me some sky. I got me some wings, I'm eager to try. I may be unknown, but wait till I've flown. You're gonna hear from me. Make me some room, you people up there. On top of the world, I'll meet you, I swear. I'm staking my claim. Remember my name. You're gonna hear from me. Fortune smiled on the road I saw before me. I'm fortune's child. Listen, world, you can't ignore me. I've got a song that longs to be played. Raise up my flag, begin my parade, and watch the world over start coming up clover. You're gonna hear from me. I'm fortune's child. Listen, world, you can't ignore me. I've got a song that longs to be played. Raise up my flag, begin my parade, and watch the world over start coming up clover. That's how it's gonna be, you'll see. You're gonna hear from me. Scott and Tony, thank you for having me on tonight. It's really a pleasure to be with you here this evening. That number was called You're Going to Hear From Me, and that was from a film called Inside Daisy Clover that made its premiere in 1965, starring Natalie Wood. This particular version, which I'm obviously quite fond of, was based on an arrangement by the lovely and talented Marilyn May. The next number that I'm going to be performing for you is from a very dear friend of mine. He wrote this for his show called Miss Gulch Returns. It's by Fred Barton, and it's called Pour Me a Man. Booze! Mama told me booze can keep you happy till you're 6 feet under grass. And though I've toasted Mom in heaven since I was 6 or 7, my happiness has never come to pass. When I find I'm hot to trot, her advice goes down real nice, but it just don't hit the spot. No, there's one drink they can't sell me. Bitch forgot to tell me a man doesn't come in a glass. What good is whiskey? I've been through the best in the bar. Whiskey ain't got whiskers wrapped around a cigar. Pour me a face black with bristle. Watch me wet my whistle. Just pour me a man. What good is scotch, whether it's with or without the old twist? Scotch ain't got a watch around its hairy left wrist. Pour me a bulging bicep bastard. Watch me get plastered. Just pour me a man. Liquor, they say, is quicker, they say, but what I want's even quicker, and it's thicker. What good is beer? I've had enough to fill Niagara Falls. Beers ain't got 2 ears or eyes or arms or legs under a pair of overalls. Pour me a mug with a head on top. I'll chug him drop by drop and make him last as long as I can. Pour me a thug pockmarked and pit-faced. I'll still end up shit-faced. Pour me a straight up, better make it a stiff one. Pour me a double, nothing but trouble, man. What good's Midori, Oriental liquor at its best? Midori can't adore me while it's flexing its chest. I got me a fabulous former felon when I want me a mouthful of melon. I poured me a man. What good is vodka? I've been drinking 8 bottles a week. Can vodka beat a bod complete with godlike physique? I came close to a concussion, choking down my first White Russian. I poured me a man. Liquor's a blast when you wanna get gassed, but I'm past just getting drunk. Poured me a hunk. What good's the bubbly, which I used to drink like a dunce? Bubble ain't worth the trouble, it only pops its cork once. I got me an eye that gives me the jitters every time he pours me the bitters. I got me a sizzling 6-foot spritzer, I poured me a non-stop, good to the last drop, I poured me a lowdown, knows how to go down, man.
The great song.
It's a lot of fun.
And we've actually had a couple of, over the year that we've been doing Piano Bar Live, the song's been done by 2 or 3 other people before, and I don't care. We can keep doing it because it's written by Mr. Fred Barton, and it was a classic and became a standard, actually, in the piano bars. You could walk in, and Michael Mackesy did it on Piano Bar Live back in, I guess, in 2019 when we were still live. It's a great tune, and thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
And you are working on a show now, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, that last song I actually used in my first cabaret, and I am working on my next cabaret that we're hoping to premiere this fall when things are open again. And I'm pleased to announce that my music director is Fred Barton, and he's also orchestrated.
Couldn't get better.
Yeah. No, it's really. I think it's going to be a lot of fun working together, and he's got some wonderful ideas. So I'm very excited for that.
And I'm pleased to announce that we have a mystery guest coming on now.
Who is that?
For you. Let's bring him on.
Fred.
It's Fred Barton.
It's me.
So Fred's going to be working as your musical director on that show, and that'll be open as soon as things open.
Yes, that is right. I might even be able to premiere it this summer in Alaska. My fingers are crossed that the Fairbanks Shakespeare Theater is going to be opening. They said that they would be willing to produce my new cabaret, Extra.
And will you be bringing Fred to Alaska?
If he wants to go.
Have you ever been there? Have you ever been there, Fred?
I think the one place I haven't been. I have not toured Alaska.
Not yet, huh?
Every other state in the country, every other city in the country I've toured in, but not there.
Excellent.
But that might change.
You never know. We have friends up there in Alaska as well. Hey, so Scott, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm going to chat with Fred a little bit now. And
nice to see you, Scott, and you, Scott.
Fred, you don't go anywhere. I got some stuff to talk to you about.
Okay.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye, Scott.
Because the two of us arrived on the scene at about the same time, back in about 1980.
Yep. I moved to New York, September 1980.
And you were working a lot. You had worked on several shows right away, and then you started touring and traveling. Pour Me a Man, again, it was one of those songs that played in the piano bars.
Yeah, I wish I had been I wrote it the summer of 1983 under the bizarre circumstances, and I wish I could go back and tell 24-year-old me, that song is still gonna be sung 38 years later.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have believed it, but I'm happy that it's out there.
But you also had one of those great moments, and there are people that had several composer lyricists that would walk into a place called 88's.
Oh.
And they would hear their music play. People might not even know they were there. And it was just and you actually went to 88's one night.
What happened to me, this was after, I'd been in New York for a long time. And I went from, the cabaret to the off-Broadway pretty quickly. I was an early bloomer. So I went to off-Broadway, and then I was conducting on Broadway in my 20s, which was very unusual then. It was unheard of. Now it's every day. But back then, and then I went on the road for 5 years. And I moved to LA somewhere in there. And I came back with nothing. I just bottomed out. I don't know if this has ever happened to any of you out there. But, after all those successes, I bottomed out. And the one good thing that happened is that I met Debbie Reynolds in Las Vegas at her casino and hotel. She ran a piano bar in her lobby. And I thought, Debbie Reynolds is doing piano bar? And I was rapt. She was so fantastic at it. And she was so generous with her guest singers and all that. I just was stunned. And she saw the look on my face as I sat there. And when someone was singing, she came over and sat next to me. And we had a long chat. And then Debbie Reynolds stayed up the entire night with me, drinking, and we told stories. And you want to hear Debbie Reynolds' late night stories, I promise you.
I bet that, yeah, no, I'm sure.
And I had a few of my own to throw in there, because if you've got the storytelling, you've got it. And we had the best time. But one thing that happened is that I told her, once I felt free enough to do so, that I was down and out, that everything had gone away. I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't, know who I was as a performer or anything. And I just stay home in my apartment in New York. And she put a finger right in my face. And she said, "Don't you dare stay home in your apartment. And you've got to get out there. We are performers," she said. I still remember every word as if it were yesterday. We're performers. If you've got it, you get out there and share it. That's our job, whether or not you get paid for it. And I then went back to New York, and a couple months passed, and one night was just the worst. It was cold and rainy and awful. And I just was hating being alone in my apartment. And all of a sudden, her words came back to me. "Don't you dare stay alone in your apartment." And I had never been to this piano bar, this fairly, it seemed fairly new to me. I heard about it, but I'd never been there. And I went downtown to West 10th Street to a place called 88's. I'd never been there. I walked in hating my life, and I sat down at the end of the bar thinking, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. And the bartender gave me my scotch, and 10 seconds after getting the scotch, the waitress that night got up to the piano and started to sing, "Booze, Mama told me." She started to sing "Pour Me a Man." And I lurched up like, ah. And I thought, that's Debbie Reynolds over there on the West Coast tapping me on the shoulder saying, "Kid, I told you so. Don't stay alone in your apartment." One thing quickly led to another. I think we reestablished our connection there. And I ended up.
A lot of people did. That was a home away from home.
It's very hard to describe 88's to people who just didn't experience it. And especially in its time and in its place. It was a great convocation of the best that both cabaret and piano bar had to offer. I mean, those Saturday night sing-alongs with Karen Miller, they were to die for. There were like 100, 200 people all over that place. Yeah. And singing their brains out, and the same song, like they had a repertoire. And then what happened is Rochelle, I remember Rochelle, who ran the place also. Yeah. She called me one day and said, "Fred, we're desperate. We have no piano player. Everybody got sick. We need. Can you come in? You have to save us." I had never done piano bar before. I was all too high and mighty and grandiose to be doing piano bar. And I said, "Rochelle, I'd love to help you, but I'm only good for 10 minutes. That's it. I only have 10 good minutes." And she said, "Fred, I'll sit with you. I'll sing with you. I'll help you through it." And she talked me into it. And I went down there terrified. 9 p.m. and I had a 6-hour shift. And all I have is 10 minutes. And I did my 10 minutes. And then she sang a song, and then someone else sang a song, and the waitress came around and she sang a song. And it was like, and I kept looking at my watch, and it's like, 10:30?
Nice.
10:30? And then, the evening kept on, and I was like sweating bullets. Oh my God. And the next time I looked at my watch, it was 3:15. And I was like, I just did a night at piano bar. I just did a piano bar host thing. And then, as it happened in the piano bars in those days, I suddenly became flavor of the month. So I instantly had like 2 nights at 88's. And then I picked up a night with Terry White at, where was she working? Oh, we played Mama's. Terry White and I did the Sunday nights at Mama's for a good long time. Nice. And because I'm a show guy, a show tune guy, brought out her theatrical side. So it was Terry White showing a different side of herself, and it was great. We had the best time. And then I did that. What was that place that closed? Rose's Turn. That place on Grove Street.
Oh yeah.
And I was less happy there, but it was one of the gigs. So I was playing.
And a lot of the same faces, though. That's the thing, is people would travel from one place to the other. So,
There was something for everyone in those days. I'm talking pre-COVID, like last year at this time, there was no equivalent because they all started to close just because of demographics and economy or whatever. One by one, the piano bars closed, including some of the flagship fabulous places. We're lucky.
Right.
We're lucky to still have Mama's. Don't Tell Mama.
We are.
And Brandy's. The duplex is still there, but it's a completely different duplex. It's not the same building. It's not the same place. It's a whole different thing. And
what we have
Marie's Crisis is still a sing-along bar. But the difference is that when I first was taken there when I was 18, a friend took me there. When I went there at 8, I'd never been such a place. My small town upbringing, and if I walk into Marie's Crisis, and there are 100 men singing the title song of On the 20th Century, with all the harmonies and all the bits and all, including that whole section that's not on the album. And I thought I died and went to heaven.
It was it's still an amazing place, and they've done so much to keep the music going during this
they have also
last year.
Keep through during the COVID. And hopefully we'll see these places. I was interested to hear what you were saying with Michelle because I'm always the pessimist, but in this one instance, I'm a bit of the optimist. We don't know what all of this is going to be when we get out of here. We're out in the world now. It's not going to be the way it was before. It's going to be totally different, and we don't know, which is a good thing because anything's possible. We'll hopefully see new spaces. I keep thinking of like the Green Room. Do you know the Green Room? Which was like this very odd cabaret space that they put in the Yoto.
Yes, the Green Room at the 42nd Street.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking, all the hotels in town have these ballrooms, just like the Yoto.
Yeah.
And if we need a little more social distancing and a little more, to get us back in.
Yep.
Maybe they're all sitting empty.
And it's going to take
Maybe I will go approach a hotel. And
it's going to take time.
Let me fill this place.
It's going to take time for them to fill again with guests.
Right.
And they're all going to be looking for the hook. Why would you stay at this hotel and not at that hotel? And live music is always worked to bring in the crowd. It will definitely be. So I believe that will be something that will be incorporated. I was speaking of hotels too, Fred, because and Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah.
An amazing woman.
Oh.
And that piano bar that you speak of was at her hotel.
Yes.
That she had a museum attached to.
With the costumes.
With all the costumes, including...
She collected all the MGM costumes because the studio was going to throw them all away.
Right. She saved all of that. And then she did a show. She had a showroom and she would do a show.
Yeah, with the boys. I mean, she did a big show. I remember she asked Ann Miller to come and appear with her. She had her friends come and help.
Right.
I never saw the big, what they called the showroom. She did. After working all day at the hotel and doing her big show maybe twice a night, then she'd go to her piano bar.
Exactly.
I mean, I learned so much from her, and it shut up my whining for life. Like, I am no longer the whiner he once knew. Because I thought, if Debbie Reynolds can work all day in her hotel, dusting and mopping, she told me she dusted, mopped, she did everything.
Yeah.
And then do her show. And keep the museum going, and then do piano bar for 2 hours into the night, and then stay up till 6 a.m. with me over a bottle of wine. Who am I to be like?
And there you go. Talk about casting as unsinkable Molly Brown.
Yeah,
she was that person. I did get to go into the showroom, and she had Rip Taylor opened for her.
Okay,
and. With all of the hoopla that they had an amazing camaraderie on stage as well. And he thanked her, by the way, for the dressing room that
Oh.
he had with all of the sinks. He said, the dressing room's really nice, Debbie, but I didn't need 10 sinks in there. So obviously, he was joking, but nice place. It was a great place. So, Fred, some of the other great work that you've done, going back to the early days, is the beginnings of one of the amazing shows that came out of the cabaret rooms at the time, Forbidden Broadway.
Oh yeah.
So
what happened there was that my first year in New York, I did not like my first year in New York, and that's very common out there if you're in your first year in New York. Of course, this one was a disaster, but it's common to not like your first year in New York, and I didn't. And I had a horrible theater job. I got a theater job right away. And so I was making money. I thought, oh, I'm a hit in New York, but it was an awful job, and I hated it, except I met someone who was destined to become my best friend for decades, Nora Mae Ling. I don't know if you ever saw her.
No.
She was not in the piano bar. She was not in the cabaret. But, she eventually did like 12 Broadway shows. But before I met her, she was on her way up and did not have the resume. And she called me in the fall of '81 and said, Fred, I'm desperate. You need to play my club act. Would you please play my club? And I told her, Nora, ask me anything in the world, but don't ask me to play your club act. I hated playing club acts. It was like a ton of rehearsal for nothing. You made no money. And then you did the thing for almost no money, and then nobody came. Like cabaret, like each individual person trying to throw a cabaret.
Right, of course.
It was really hard to get people to come. And, nothing's changed. But I just didn't want to do it. And she begged me, and of course she was my best friend, so I relented. But I was very blunt. I said, Nora, and her friend had written some lyrics and songs, and they would do it together, the two of them. I said, why don't you and your friend come over and let me hear the material? And if you knew, and there I am, like 23 years old, and if you knew Nora Mae, you don't say to her, let me hear the material. You just don't go there. But I did. And guess what? They came over and let me hear the material. And the first thing she sang, they were very shrewd. The first thing they performed, she sang for me a parody of Lauren Bacall, who was in Woman of the Year on Broadway at that time. And Nora did a parody of Lauren's big number in the show called One of the Boys. And Lauren would sing, I'm one of the boys, who's one of the, all that.
Right.
And this parody, the tears were streaming down my face, both from Nora's impression and the lyrics were beyond hilarious. A side note, it's unfortunate that number has not been released all these decades later. I have released it on my Facebook page. So if you want to hear it, you can go there. But it was Nora Mae Ling and her friend Gerard Alessandrini. And the show, they put a title on the show, Forbidden Broadway, which I didn't really understand at the time. So it was originally just the two of them. It was like an evening with Elaine May and Mike Nichols, the two of them and me at the piano. And we did 2 nights in November. That's it. It was packed with all their friends. But something happened. And I won't go into the long version of the story. You'll have to wait for my book. But we were doing it. And then the nominal temporary director added 2 other people to the cast. So now we were a cabaret review of 4 people, which was very unusual. Like there was nothing like that going on in those days. And me at the piano. So we were a quintet. And we were just about ready to throw in the towel. We performed for there was one performance, a brunch show, Sunday at 2:00. There are 3 people in the audience, and I mean 3. A husband, a wife, and their kid. And they had no idea there was a show. They just came for brunch. And all of a sudden the lights went out and this show started and all of us swept on stage and they were just staring at us. What the hell's going on? Anyway, we were ready to throw in the towel and what happened was Hal Prince caught wind of this little show that these kids were doing upstairs in a nowhere in this place on 72nd Street, and he was really annoyed because Gerard had made a poster for us that was a parody of the Merrily We Roll Along poster.
Okay.
The three of them on the hill looking at the sign, and Hal Prince was pissed. I mean, he was very bitter that Merrily We Roll Along just was a dead failure just before that.
Right.
And he came to see our show in an awful frame of mind. Like, who are these little upstarts who are daring to make fun of my work? He came backstage after the show and he loved it. And he recognized it for what it was, which was not a tear down Broadway. It wasn't like Vicious Tear It All Down and all that. It was a love letter. And the reason it was called Forbidden Broadway was because we were Forbidden Broadway, that thing that we most wanted to do and most loved and wanted to do and felt we could do as well as the people who were doing it. And once he saw it, then all of a sudden all the stars came. The limos lined up in front of the joint.
Yeah.
I mean, there hasn't been a phenomenon like that. I mean, Rent was probably like, I'm not Rent, Hamilton. But before Hamilton, there were only two shows that did this in recent memory. Forbidden Broadway, you know, when the limos suddenly start out of nowhere, they suddenly line up.
Right.
And the press goes crazy. I mean, we had an international press for the five of us doing our little show. And there was nothing to it. Like five.
And it went on.
I'm sorry?
It went on and on.
It went on for, little did we know, it went on for 27 years.
The rest is history.
And Gerard eventually won an honorary Tony Award, even though I never played Broadway, but just because he had become an institution on Broadway. And I look back on that when I was 23, thinking that was a lot. And, you know, I met every star in the world.
Fred, you've done
Ethel Merman, Mary Martin, Carol, like I met them all and hung out with them. It was an incredible time.
You've done amazing work, Fred.
And it was partly that launched my next show because I had access to publicity because the press was knocking down the door. So that was quite something.
It's amazing. I mean, the stuff that you did and laid groundwork that it gave so many people work for, you know, just talk about all the people that worked. I mean,
I can't even begin to think how many people went through Forbidden Broadway, which again started with as a cabaret show with two people and me at the piano. And my role at the piano, I sort of invented that whole thing because I always had played Broadway scores, you know, the full scores at the piano since I was about 12. I already played all of Hello Dolly, all of Gypsy, all the time. And my mother would sit down and listen. And then, so my goal, even when I was a kid, was I want to sound like the record. I don't want to sound like some piano player. I want to sound like the record, like an orchestra.
Right.
I literally taught myself, I've got these big, strong fingers, and we had a big, tough piano, and I dragged an orchestra out of that piano. Like, I didn't play like a pianist. And it annoyed some people I played for later, like, why are you doing all that? But it was perfect for that show. It was like the ultimate showcase for exactly what I did, which was
and you did that
and like pretend it's an orchestra, and that's what I heard, and that's what they heard.
Yeah, and you did that so well, and your work with orchestras as well.
That was another great thrill. You again, going back to your conversation with Michelle, you never know what the future has in store for you. If you told me, like with that song, Pour Me a Man, if you told me like 38 years later, it's going to be sung on 3 continents still. And also, I mean, if you told me back then, I hadn't done an orchestration. I didn't know how to do that. But the last 15 years, I've done nothing but symphony orchestrations, and they've been played regularly at Carnegie Hall and symphony halls all around the country and Canada. And you fall into these things.
Absolutely. Hey, Fred, it's been a pleasure to have you on.
It's been a pleasure. It's so great to see you again after so long.
I want to thank Matt Berman for helping you to make the leap into the virtual world that's ahead of us all.
And it was great to see Matt again for the first time in a couple of years, too.
And you're going to let us know when you have when you have something, or if you'd like to come back on and play and perform for us,
I'll
we'd
get
be
my
very.
act
We
together
do have
technically.
something. We do have something in the can.
Oh,
Going back a little bit of a ways back. That Tony, would you bring that on, that video?
Anyway, speaking of padding, did you happen to notice that in The Wizard of Oz, everybody got to sing a big number except for me? Well, I had one, you know. I thought I needed it to expand my image a little bit, but they cut it. The day I found out they were cutting it, I walked into the office of the Moguls. I walked into the Moguls and I said, listen, I do my own light Egyptian makeup. You aren't going to cut my number. They cut it. That's what happens in the movies. Judy Garland got over the rainbow in a concert career, an Academy Award, a cult legend, Hall McGill. What have I got? Well, I've still got the number. All right, I'll do it for you. It's called I'm a Bitch. Watch the rhyme scheme. Goes like this. I'm a creature born to fight. I'm a screecher in the night. Why, I make poison ivy itch. I am really thriving when I'm conniving. Nothing new in me. It's the shrew in me. Between you and me, I'm a bitch. I told you in advance it was called I'm a Bitch. Now, what do you think I was going to rhyme with itch? Stay with me now. In a royal bitchy mood, I could spoil frozen food, and that's by walking through the kitchen. Help but be vindictive. It's so addictive, that old crabbiness is my happiness. I hope that most will pardon my boast, or even toast, that I'm a bitch. My characteristics defy statistics. My peak has been unique since my very first day. My mother's obstetrician diagnosed my disposition, so I kicked him, my first victim, in my inimitable way. In my rancor, I'm a tanker out to hit, and I can knit my brow and never drop a stitch. 'Cause in my maliciousness, I find deliciousness, and I'm venomous. Not for 10 of us, it's unanimous. If you all got the pitch, yes, and it's malevolent. Seem to be prevalent. Well, isn't it queer? Isn't it rich? I'm a bitch.
And that's from your Miss Gulch show.
that was wow. Was that a long time ago or what?
It was, and that's
24,
available.
25 in that video. That was a Don't Tell Mama, and Don't Tell Mama at that time was only barely 2 years old.
Yeah, new
So
place.
that's like history on history on history.
New place. Anyway, Fred, thanks so much for joining us. And
It's such a pleasure. Good to see you, Scott. And
there's been a lot of people on the thread commenting about they want to hear you play. So
okay,
let us
well,
know
maybe
when
this
you're ready
time
to come
I'll
back.
have Matt over and we'll get it all worked out.
Get it all worked out, man.
And thanks for what you're doing. This is really, really fantastic.
Appreciate it, Fred. And again, just let us know when you're ready to come back.
Okay, will do.
Enjoy
Bye.
the rest of the night. Tony.
Hey. Sir, yes.
I'm running late, but I'm enjoying the conversation. So
yeah,
everybody be patient. We've got more show coming. Don't forget
more
to share
show, more music.
This is the first time, by the way, that we're going to have two mystery guests. So we have a really fantastic mystery guest coming up. But before we go to the mystery guest and our next and our performer Nicolas King is coming up, we want to stop by and we want to say hello. I'd like to introduce a gentleman. He was on a few weeks ago. He works with me at Ellen's Stardust Diner, and he did an amazing piece for us the last time. We will put the link up for that on the thread if you want to see Patrick Pevehouse the last time he was on. But ladies and gentlemen, here's Mr. Patrick Pevehouse.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that. And may I say, not in a shy way, oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is man? What has he got? If not himself, then he is not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, hold on just a second. Let me fix my audio. There we go. Hey.
Thanks for joining us tonight, man. Appreciate you being here with us.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to see each other again on Saturday.
This Saturday night.
Saturday night, we have a big event coming from Ellen's Stardust Diner, ladies and gentlemen, and Patrick is part of the cast for that show. It is a wall to wall Ellen Stardust. All the
It sure
hits.
is.
All the hits.
It really is just the greatest hits compilation of Ellen Stardust Steiner for sure.
It's going to be on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on Broadway On Demand. So we're hoping that we have
9
people
p.m.
join us
Saturday.
there.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to having you there with the crew.
I can't wait. Saturday at 9, correct? 9 p.m.
Saturday at 9.
Yeah, great.
We're gonna it's only gonna be us in there, socially distanced.
Fantastic.
We're all getting tested before we go in, and we're gonna give everybody a little bit of love that they haven't gotten from 51st and Broadway in a few weeks.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Patrick,
thank you so much.
No, thank you. You're one of the people there that makes it a special place for me and for everybody that comes in, and greatly appreciated.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of the night, Patrick.
Definitely. You too. Good night, everybody.
Bye. So we're ready for our next guest coming up. Somebody that I met about maybe 10 years ago. Had him at the Iridium. This young man, and he was young when he started too. He was performing by the age of 4. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nicolas King.
I think I did that right. I hope I did that right. You'll let me know if I didn't. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Isn't this fun? I miss all of you so very much, but right now I'm going to put some echo on. Here we go. Yeah. You're just too good to be true, and I can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I want to hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true, and I can't take my eyes off you. But in the way that I stare, there's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. Well, there are no words left to speak. But if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true, and I can't take my eyes off you. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm a lonely night. Pretty baby, trust in me when I say, oh, pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray, my pretty baby. Now that I found you, you better stay and let me love you, baby. Let me love you. Oh, you're just too good to be true, and I can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I've got a hold of you so much, and I got on last, love has arrived, and I'm so glad I'm alive. You are just too good to be true, darling, and I just can't take my eyes off you. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm our lonely nights, my pretty baby. Trust in me when I say, oh, my pretty baby, don't break me down, I pray, my pretty baby. Now that I found you, stay and let me love you, baby. Let me love you, baby. You're just too good to be true, and I just can't take my eyes. Oh, sweet little you. I know how the stars out tonight. I don't know if it's cloudy or bright. I can't take my eyes off you, baby. Now you got me begging you for mercy. Why won't you release me, darling? You're too good to be true. Yeah, that's some Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. Let me lower this for a quick second. That's a recording that I made back in the day with the wonderful Mr. Mike Renzi, who arranged that for me. We had Jay Lenhart on bass, our pal Jay, and Buddy Williams on the drums. We recorded that at the beautiful NOLA Recording Studios when there was a NOLA Recording Studios up there on 57th Street, I think it was, the Steinway Building. Correct me, please, because I'm fuzzy right now. But that was a lot of fun to do. But we put that recently on a brand new record that just came out digitally about 3 days ago on Club 44 Records called Nicolas King Act 1. And it celebrates 25 years of recordings, which for me is, basically my whole life. I started working, as Scott said, since I was about 4 years old. And this record is a nice little comprehensive look back at the last quarter of a century of music. The first recording being, of course, when I'm 4.5 years old. Don't worry, it's not an album of a child, but you hear little me go into big me. Think like, Streisand, You'll Never Know type thing. Little me going to big me, the whole thing. And it's a nice little comprehensive look back at the last 25 years. It features appearances and duets by people like Liza Minnelli, Tom Selleck in his singing debut on the record, Jane Monheit, who's I think is just perfection. And we've got liner notes by the one and only Connie Francis as well. So it's very exciting. Anyway, it's out right now. Go check it out. That song is on it. The original recording, though, when I was 19 years old. And you'll hear all sorts of wonderful stuff throughout the years, including this next song that I recorded with Norm Lewis for the record. Norm is not here, clearly, but I'll do both parts if that's all right. It's a very pretty song that and it comes at a very important time for all of us. I think this song means a lot more now is it playing? There we go. Oh no, now it's playing. Let me start that again. There we go. It means more now, I think, in 2021 than it ever has before in history. And anyway, this is the latest single from the new album, usually done as a duet with Norm Lewis, but I think you'll recognize it. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. When I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I say to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah.
Thank
That's
you,
the one.
Nicolas. Thank you, Nicolas.
It's so nice to see you.
It's nice to see you, and what a perfect song.
Yeah,
Perfect
we need it
time
right now,
for
don't
it.
we? I know. And Norm is just terrific on it. Of course, Norm is terrific on everything he opens his mouth up for. But it was just a thrill to be in that studio with him and to hear that voice come out of that man in person. So it was a real thrill to do it, you know. And we're thrilled that people can get it now. They can stream it and download it and listen to it now. It's available on
Where
all
are they
the
streaming?
digital things.
Where are they downloading it from?
Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, Apple Music, Pandora, you name it, they got it. Now the physical CD comes out February 26th, but the digital one is available right now. People can get it right now. Yeah,
Nicolas, what a pleasure to see you. I mentioned to you earlier we have a mystery guest here to say hello to you today.
you do, and now I'm racking my brain. It's either Andrew Bakari or Gina Lollobrigida. It's got to be one of those two.
Okay. Well, you didn't guess.
No, I don't think I guessed.
Introduced me to you back and brought you into the show. I'm going to play this video now, and that will set it all in place.
Is.
Tony, no more. Let's get it going, Tony. A little Therese Ginecco.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as a little Therese Ginecco.
But she. Oh,
Well,
what
here we are.
memories. Oh my
Hey,
goodness.
baby.
Therese, my gosh, what beautiful memories.
I know, right? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's so
What
nice
a
to
blast
see
we
you.
had. You do.
Goodness sakes, powerhouse, Miss Janeko over there.
Oh. Listen, you. I was doing a show one night at the Iridium, and it was fairly early on, Scott. We were only like 2 years into the 5-year run at that point, and Steve Sorokoff had come in, and he had just been to see somebody else's show. But he came in to see my second set, and I was out mingling with the crowd as they were leaving, and I talked to Steve, and how you doing? How you guys been? He goes, I'm blown away. Have you seen Nicolas King's show yet? I said, no, I've been hearing this kid's name all over town. What is going on? And he said, he's at the Metropolitan Room. You've got to go see him. He's incredible. This kid can swing like I go, Steven, not for nothing, but I mean, you see what my band does. I mean, that's swinging, right? I mean, yeah, he's got to be pretty good. He goes, go see him. I'm not kidding you. Go see him. So I did. I went down. I saw Nicolas perform. He opened his mouth, and I was like, yep. He can swing. He's in. So at that point, I was nervous he'd say no, because I really wanted him to come in and be a guest in my show, and I wanted him to perform with us on a regular basis. And I thought, he's already been on Broadway. I mean, this kid doesn't need me, and I need him. I just was like, I think we'd be good for each other. You'd have a great time on stage with my band, and you'd have a chance to, get that New York City audience vibe. We had great crowds at the Iridium back in those days, man. They would just pile in off the streets down into the basement, and we'd just fly, man. Yeah. So you came in and you fit so perfectly with the vibe. With the band, you didn't need any rehearsal. You had the charts. You were such a total pro. You just came in and you're like, I'm slotting in. This is what I do. I'm ready.
It was so much fun. And, I was living in Rhode Island then. So after your show, what was the late show? Was that what was the last one?
We finished
10.
Whenever, and we got in the car,
we go late.
Plow right on home, back to Rhode Island. And now that I live in New York, couldn't we be doing the show now? It would make a lot easier on the evening commute, but it was one of the best parties. It was a party every week, and it was. I mean, to open up your stage and your heart the way that you did is not something. I don't know that. I think a lot of people on this chat and on this thing will all agree. Not all performers are as generous as that. Not all performers are as open. And we're no reason to mince words. Performers are selfish when it comes to that stuff. It's just is part of the nature of our business. But you are the antithesis of that, because you opened up not only your stage and your band and your audience, but your heart to me, and you allowed me to come in and invade your stage for a few numbers. And it's something like that someone like me starting out in that thing will never forget. That is the generosity, the kindness, the heart. It's something very special and very rare. And you're just the tops as far as that goes. I
appreciate that very much. I do. And I know people have said that before, and then they've told me to be more protective of my gig and my space. And I had special guest stars in all the time. And to me, what fun is that? You hoard all that to yourself. We're meant to be in this performing live community together. It's a community event. It's a shared experience. The more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. And Scott, as my producer, let me do whatever I wanted to do. He was so generous himself, and he coached me through some stuff that I needed help with right early on, and he helped me develop my style but he kept his hands off the product for the most part. But I cleared things with him, and I said, "What do you think about Nicolas?" And he's like, "You can't go wrong there."
Fine. I have to get in. We need a third Italian on this.
Therese, absolutely, you were so generous on that stage, even letting me on the stage on an occasion.
Oh, I did.
That suit jacket.
And and let's not forget Barry Levitt, who was there with us during that run. Amazing, and he was a swinger.
The maestro, he used to look over at me when Nicolas was singing, and his eyes would be sparkling, and he'd just bite his lip, and he'd shake his head, and he'd just go, I don't know how he does it. I don't know where he gets it from. He told me once, he said, the kid is preternaturally talented with the ability to swing. I was like, yeah, there's no other way to say it than the way the maestro
Well, for me, it was the feeling of, I never obviously was around for the Rat Pack, but for me, it was the same feeling of those Tuesday nights that I felt like, okay, this is not Sammy at the Copa and all this, but I feel like this is as close as we could get to that feeling. It was a party. It was nothing but love, and we had our own little Rat Pack between the band and Scott and you and everybody and the Tropicabana girls. I felt like we were, 51st and Broadway's Rat Pack.
I think so too.
And over 100 shows there. Packed audiences, lots of guests. And we'd go late also. We would go late as our show is tonight. I apologize for keeping anybody up, but I've been having a good time. This is my big night out.
Where do we got to go, Scott? We're all stuck home. There's no excuse.
We have we're here. But what we do have, though, thanks to Teresa's good efforts, is a special video of one of the nights that was really incredible at the Iridium. Was a night that a special guest came in, and we brought her in the side door, and we got her into the audience, and we kept her very coddled, and we didn't want to bother her, and the next thing.
And this was for Nicolas's own show, Scott, right? This was Nicolas's own show. He was doing his own thing at that point.
His own show.
I was in his audience with my cell phone in the back of the room, going like, "I gotta get this."
And who should come in and be there and then actually get on stage, but Liza.
Yeah.
And that was
I got a woman who's just so crazy for me. She's from that way. I'd be so unhappy without you, Liza. I know. See, I got this kid who's crazy for me. He's funny. No, not really funny. The best I've seen, the best I've heard. Man, you can believe my word. He's funny and sensational that way. Ladies and gentlemen, the best.
Wow.
Sensational indeed.
Wouldn't it be nice
What
to
a
get
memory.
back into that moment? I mean, that brought us to that moment, but
Oh
I
gosh,
can't
I can't believe you got that on film. That's incredible.
Yeah, these
That's
are your
wonderful.
surprises for the night, Nicolas.
Oh, I love the surprises. And you could even hear Tony Danza in there laughing. You could hear him when you listen.
You got him up on there afterwards too.
Up on there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
gosh,
guys,
that's wonderful.
Great night.
I hope we can do this again soon. I hope we can do this again soon in real life. Things seem to be going in a good way. By the way, Angela Bakari is on the thread watching everything.
No.
And yes, she's got her eye on everything. And hi, Angela.
What I'd like to know is,
Can't wait to see you.
when can we get the Little Big Band and Therese Janeko back to the
That's
Iridium?
up
This
to
is what I want to
Therese
know.
Janeko.
That's what I want to know.
Well, when we lost the Maestro, that was a big hit for me. That I wasn't sure I could come back from that. So the timing has to be right. We got to get the right personnel. But yeah, because he had just said to me, "We need a reunion," and he said, "Methuselah ain't getting no younger." And then so sad that literally I was like, we should do that. I got to get Scott on the horn and we got to put something together. And then a month after that, I heard that he had that heart attack and then he was gone. So, but he wanted us to keep swinging. So we'll be back.
Let's do it.
You guys,
All right,
just let
baby.
me know. Anything I can do to help with that, I'm on.
I'll harass the crap out of you, Therese. It's got to happen. We need you back. We miss you.
I want to say hi to Shani also. She's back there with you on the thread as well. Whenever you're ready, guys. Whenever you're ready. But
Thanks.
thank you for tonight. This was great. It made me
What a treat.
really
Thank you
made
so
my
much.
night.
Thank you.
Great to
Again,
hear you, Nico.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Miss you
Be
guys.
well. Everybody. Stay safe.
Bye, guys. Hey, Tony.
Hey, Scott. Special moment.
It was a special moment.
A special moment. My goodness.
We want to make sure that everybody shares this stream. It's going to be saved on YouTube and Facebook, and from those places you can let people, send them the link and let them see what we've been up to. If you can help us a little bit with that Venmo and PayPal, that would be a great help for us here at Piano Bar Live, so we can keep bringing you nights like this. And we have a good show coming up next week.
We do.
We have a nice cast coming to visit with us as we celebrate. Again, we're going up to Boston and celebrating with the folks from Boston. Do you have the list of the names of the performers, Tony?
I think I do.
There you go.
I got you, Scott.
A full mix of all different kinds of stuff, and part of it will be streamed out of the Club Cafe. So we're looking forward to that next week.
You will not want to miss that. What a gorgeous space. Right into your home.
Part of it from Boston, part of it from Worcester, and all of it from New England with love.
Exactly.
So, Tony, I think we've reached the shank completely.
We are full shank.
I apologize, folks, for running late, but again, I was having too good of a time.
And the good news is we have even more wonderful music, or so I hear.
Well, actually, Marty's making cocktails, and we're just gonna leave them to their own devices. So they're not gonna come back on. Tony?
Are you kidding?
Yeah, no, Marty and Michael. Yeah, no, the show's been running long, so they said, you know what?
Okay.
We're cool.
Okay,
we're gonna go mix drinks, and we're gonna let everybody get back.
Far be it from me to stand in the way of people who have delighted our audiences and me so much, and their cocktails
and
that are so well deserved.
You never know when I'm joking anymore, do you?
No, I don't. I'll work on that. I swear.
So listen, everybody, have a wonderful week ahead. It feels so much better day by day, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week.
See you next week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.